Been a very long time. Boomer struggles. So, does this work? It's been so long, it's different. So, thank you, Dave. Oh, there's a whole bunch of less than a dozen people here. Excellent, excellent. So, I'm gonna assume it all works brilliantly. Thanks for hanging out. It's been so long since I've been doing anything. I thought I might as well make it interesting, but we're not just gonna play a bit of Doom, because let's face it, every time you see Doom being played, they use a source port. So if you're not aware of the whole Doom thing, Doom is a great game, first-person shooter, 30-year-olds by now. Last week, December 10th. John Carmack, John Romero, some legends of game design. They gave the source code. They just made the source code public a very, very long time ago. So nowadays you can literally play Doom on a toaster, on a pregnancy test. I don't know why you want to do that. And on your kitchen appliance probably. Which means that people playing Doom nowadays, they use like a source port that runs on Windows with wide screen, with many frames per second, with proper mouse functionality. It would not be a Heusinkveld stream if we did it like everybody does. So I will play it more realistically, because back in those days, 1993, we had a 386 DX 25 megahertz with only 2 megabytes of RAM, so my Doom experience did not exist. It wouldn't run, simply would not work. And which meant my first experience of Doom was at a friend's house. He had a 486 DX 33 megahertz, and it kind of worked, but it still wasn't great. So I want to play it a little bit if I had 4 megabytes of RAM in my 386, which will be so horrible and unplayable that we'll skip to the 486 speed, which is still quite terrible. People tend to remember the game as if it ran smoothly on my 286. Well, it didn't, I can tell you. First of all, the game was also limited to 35 frames per second, which you would never get, because that needed a system that you would probably not, be able to afford. You need a very sort of rich dad or very stupid dad who you could convince to buy the fastest 486, because even on a fast 486 you would never hit those 35 frames per second when things got busy. And of course, when things get busy, when things are eating your face and stuff like that, you kind of want the frame rate, but you didn't get it. So it's not necessarily a Doom stream. I'm just sort of here hanging out. So if any of you feels like having a chat, asking me about Doom or sim racing, whatever that might be, feel free to chat, because this is the whole big brain of this operation, is that unlike when I'm sim racing and streaming, I either crash because I'm paying attention to what some of you are saying, or I don't. Here, however, we'll be very bad at the game and I'll be able to interact, but I also realize, I haven't been doing much on YouTube for a very long time, so I don't expect that many people to turn up, but we'll see. So we'll play a bit of episode 1, and let's stop that first. And we are currently in 386 mode. However, before we do, I still have the right scene here. One of the things, just some of the things actually, of the original Doom that sucked, not only the frame rate, which we will see, it worked fine with the mouse and keyboard, but they never anticipated people would use keyboard for movement forward and back. So moving the mouse forward and backward also moves your character forward, and you cannot turn that off. So it's very annoying, especially if you have some platform section and you want to turn precisely. You always sort of move your mouse front and back a little bit and you fall off and stuff like that. No issue in Tour Sports, you can turn it off. Or maybe if you were super advanced back in the day, we had ball mice. You know, when the bottom of your mouse, there's no optical sensor, was literally a ball in there. And maybe there's two rollers for the x-axis and y-axis. Maybe some people disconnected that. However, another thing it didn't do was auto run. I always enable auto run in my Tour Sport Doom, just so that you can be faster. And that didn't work. So let me get out the big thing. No, this is not an OnlyFans stream. I just remembered this. What does Lego have to do? 80s Lego have to do? Well, it not having auto run. This is an amazing little bit of Technic Lego. This thing on the front is a weight. It's fairly heavy. And I got it out of my Lego and put it on the tilt key above the tab. So it would permanently press the tilt key down and I would have auto run. So I think we're gonna be very realistic and see if we can demolish my Lego safely. Oh yes, it's coming. No, it's not an OnlyFans stream yet. We may do that. No, we won't. So this is fairly hefty. Yes, I like this. I don't know. I keep spending a lot of money on in good condition Lego sets. Let's see, does it work? Can I? Oh, no, it falls off. Ooh, it might work. This will be added comedic value because my auto run key will definitely fall off. So let me switch. Look at that DOS prompt. Hey, we got 25 people in here. Hi everybody, good evening. GP Labs. Purple Sector, that's a good name. Got Dave, ARHRS, hello. I'm a 40-year-old, well, yes. I fully expect Kirk, that brings me back to GPL, doesn't it, Kirk House? Is that correct? Before we start, I have to set up that tilt key. My keyboard might be a bit loud, I cannot really change that. Config, the keyboard. You may also notice I'm crazy, so my keyboard controls in first-person shooters ever since Doom. Should I tell? It's really bad. It's weird. No WASD for me. I figured I want to get the most use out of my hand. Still not an OnlyFans stream. So I use the space for forward, and then my hand palm is on the control, moving backwards, and then the A is run, and S is strafe left, F strafe right, E is jump, there is no jump in Doom, D is crouch. That's what I use. And I've always used that, and I always use invert mouse since mouse look came about, because I played flight sims with the mouse, and pulling back would look up. So, I can play first person shooters until they remove the invert mouse option, effectively. Anyway, let's see if we can speed on. Can we? Oh, we can. So this thing is now on the tilt. Ooh, it won't stick very well. I can just, the weight will press it down. Excellent, excellent. So I am in 386 mode now. And this is actually sort of the speed. I did some research that it would run on my 386. Yes, you hear that. We'll do the first episode. Ultraviolence. So you would not believe it, but this is roughly the frame rate you might get. I think it would even be a bit lower than this on a 386 DX25. And you could, of course, increase the screen size. In itself, very unresponsive. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, you click the 1080p 60 FPS stream, but it's not that. One trick is to lower the detail with F5, which lowers the resolution. So you could already not see anything, and now it's worse, but this is a good frame rate. And the sound is a PC speaker, because we did not have a sound card. Remember those days you would not automatically have good audio with a PC. You had to install a sound card first. So yeah, not great, but we'll play a little bit of this level and it will be so terrible, and then if there's somebody... what's moving there? Is there a pixel? I think there might be a pixel I can shoot. We'll do the auto run later. Strafe, but my mouse moves me forward and backward, and that's annoying. I don't really want that. Somebody sympathize. Whoa, I haven't spoken English in a while. Somebody here, Diamond Dog Racing, had a 386 SX25. We had the DX, baby, which was 32-bit something. Oh well. The turbo button. Mr. Anderson, you don't understand the turbo button. It was clever marketing. What the turbo button typically did was decrease the clock speed. So yeah, this is low detail. Well, I'll go high detail now. Down one screen side. This is sort of the norm. So you can already see the problem. Well, you can't see it. I think that's 2. Yes, I got 2 of them. So Doom is an easy game when you play a Source Sport at 60 FPS and all your controls is going. You got your optical mice with the DPI all set up. It's quite easy to play in ultra-violence, but at 6 FPS with weird mouse controls, it actually becomes very difficult. And I think we will die plenty of times just trying to play episode 1 in what was for the day the hardware a lot of people had to use. Ooh, I'm scared. Oh, 2 shotgun blasts. Hey, got him. So you cannot imagine anymore, because any entry-level laptop you get these days, you can play most games at 720p low, you know. And it won't be great, but it will be a lot better than this. This was a time where the hardware was just changing so fast. Games were changing so fast. And if your dad and your mom, they just did their taxes and a bit of word processing for the church or something, you didn't need more than a 386, but that meant these 3D-ish games had a hard time. Oh yeah, two shotgun dudes. Okay. This is going well. And I remember once we got a 486 that I also got a sound card. Oh, didn't see you. Wow. Health down to 43%. We will go into sound card mode in a bit. I will just do this level in 386. Oh, the frame rate. F. Oof. Oh, it's so slow. But this was actually the experience, you know. Lots of people, if you were lucky enough to have 4 megabytes of RAM on your 386, the game would work, but you would not have seen anything smoother than 10 FPS. You know, most games, like the first Indy 500, was kept at 15 frames per second. GP Laptus in the chat, he probably knows best. IndyCar 2 was kept at 30, I believe, but you didn't typically get it, you know. They also said Doom is kept to 35, but you see, we're not getting it. You needed a pretty beefy system. And the funny thing is, of course, nowadays you can find reviews made in the modern times of all this old hardware. So you know exactly what RAM settings and latency and stuff you need to get. And back in those days, I had no idea. So maybe you had the wrong graphics card or latency in the memory. So one 386 could perform quite differently from another. I also remember in some versions that there was a button here, but it's missing. I don't know what happened there. And then this would open and you could run out, well, at 4 FPS run out there. So maybe this is a different version. Pick up some health items. What I do like about Doom is you just start the game and you're shooting in seconds. So, well, 49% health is good enough. So it's hard to imagine that nobody cared, well, not too much about this frame rate. You were just in awe looking at texture mapped, sort of 3D. It's 2.5D as they say. Oh, it's bad, running bad. Oh, there's 2 shotgunners here. I have so little control over what's happening, so... Yes, that's my health. Excellent. So, for quite a few people, this would have been the Doom experience. Oh. And I would have been amazed if this was possible. I was jealous of my friends who had a quicker PC that would run this game. So that's the first level. We'll skip the secrets for now. We'll do it in 480. Oh, there's still one Betty. Boom. Got him. Oh, even that's slow. So, with that out of the way. Ooh. Oof. Yeah, those sounds excellent. So let's restart this game because this was a bit too terrible. Oh, so there's so much lag in the menus. Let's see, let's go to 12,000 is a 486 DX33. Let's run setup again because we want some Sound Blaster and we will like some Sound Blaster again. This is an old version because I'm running the newer version, the latest version of Doom 1 allows up to 8 channels. So this is more like it. Actually, I prefer the ad-lib music which you are running now. It can also run with wavetable sound, which made the instruments sound a lot more real. But I kind of like the old school sound. So let's start episode 1 again, Ultraviolence. Okay, this is a bit better, isn't it? I think this might actually be somewhat playable. Somebody in chat, Phil has a DX40. Yeah, jealous of his mates, absolutely. And Chuck Yeager, that was fun too. Yeah, I played a lot of Chuck Yeager. Actually, this is a bit of a weird story, but Kirk says he played Chuck Yeager Flight Simulator. I think it's Chuck Yeager. He had Advanced Flight or something, and there was Chuck Yeager's Air Combat. I always play Chuck Yeager's Air Combat 4th and 5th of May, which is like Liberation Day here. I still sometimes load up the game and play it for a bit because it's a fun flight sim, fun to play. And that's one of those huge things with these old games. You had to figure it, you had to be a bit, well, messed up in the head. You need a lot more imagination. Die, please. Thank you. Okay, let's do this auto run business. Oh yes, flying. The speed of Doom Guy is amazing too. I always get a shot in. Okay, this frame rate is better than what you probably would have seen back in the day on your system. I still remember getting a Sound Blaster 2.0, digital audio, OPL music. You really want to get rid of those. Oh yeah, there's RNG in everything. So sometimes your shotgun... I'm pretty dead already. Sometimes your shotgun deals a lot more damage. Oh, okay. Forgot that, dude. You see? It's so easy in a sewer sport, but I'm already basically dead. So the problem now becomes, I want to get that secret here, but there's 2 shotgunners there. My health is 9. That's not gonna do all that well. Oh, my block fell off. Oh yeah, that's good. 2 in 1. That's excellent health. We like that. The movement speed in Doom is very fast, which actually works a lot better if you do get a frame rate that's not easy to count. Thankfully they missed me. See, this is nice. I can just stand. There's my block again. Stand still for a bit and read chat, because trying to stand still in a racing sim is a bit weird. Alright, let's see. There's another shotgunner here. I always found it weird that you can max out your shotgun ammo so easily here. There's another secret, but I'm not sure what version I'm running, if it's even there. This should open, but meh, there isn't a lot to get anyway, so let's finish the level. Get on with it. Get on with it. Oh. I'm not so sure about this auto run. It's very nice that it's working with my Lego block, but there we are. I always like this level a lot. Hey. Oh, the jibs. Very nice. Imp here. I've played this too. Hey, whoa. You know you've played this a few times too many in your life and you know that there's an imp somewhere, but I guess a lot of people know this inside out. I've played the game for a few times over the years, but I don't know all the secrets by heart and all that. Imp, where are you, my friend? I think we have a date with the shotgun. Error. I'm looking up. It's not working. That took a lot more damage than it was worth. So this is the first Romero level, apparently. Okay, well I think it's a cool level. I do know some of the secrets here, I think. So that's... I hope there's lots of health to be found. But I already opened the switch. I got my ammo bag, which doubles your capacity to carry rounds and stuff. Ducky. There is a stream with John Romero and John Carmack last week. Oh boy. It's not super interesting. No. Come on, man. Oh, that's my run key. Oh yeah, the running is super fast. Shall I pick this up? Normally I was very scared playing this game, always, you know, saved the goodies for later, but I'll just pick it up now. Big health. Stock up on my shotguns. So another year is almost gone. It's amazing how fast that one went. So, this is a sim racing channel. We drift around the corners with Doom Guy here. But, you know, what happened this year? F1 esports probably not happening anymore. Does anybody care about that? Then sport is sort of turned out to be all new technology. Actually, we just used RF2, weirdly licensed or not. It was a bit of a weird year there. WRC, not played it yet. Floaty. AMS2 getting a few updates that I haven't tried, but it's well received, I think. Which is nice to see. I remember when AMS2 started and some people thought it was expensive, or I was always sure that they would put in silly time, silly hours. More than Ian Bell would allow his team to try and optimize and improve. While I'm not sure you can completely get rid of some of the core feeling. Oh, that's a barrel. Seems that they've gone quite far in making it handle better, which is very good to see. It's dedication. I knew that, of course, but it's nice to see that they still move on with it. And of course, Ian the Bell is back with Screenshot Simulator 2. And apparently the crowdfunding will start at some point. So, things did happen this year. These dark lights, I used to play this game back in those days. Once I actually got... Oh, hello. We upgraded to a 486 and I think we had a 13 or 14 inch monitor, which was sort of the size. So the low resolution, 320 by 200, is terrible, was terrible then-ish. But, you know, on a small screen, it worked. But I turned off all the lights in my room, headphones on, and I was pretty terrified. Probably 95 when I got to play it. I would turn down the contrast on my screen, so it was even harder to see, just to scare the crap out of myself. That's the type of person I am. Ooh. Oh. So dark. Yeah, I know you can shoot that. We'll get the chainsaw here. And something else, some armor. Hey, I do play this game a bit, knowing the secrets. Right, chainsaw. And there goes my run button again. So I did use the chainsaw quite a bit. On the pinkies, you're low on ammo. I was always very cautious saving ammo. Turned out to be not all that necessary. Full plus. Oh, yeah, it kind of works. Oh, we do need the frame rate the most when things are... I've been there, sorry. I'm getting hairy, but... The map. Alright, I think this is most of the stuff. Actually, it is... Oh, I'm here again, sorry. We will get lost a lot. Dark Forces, Christopher Kubish. Yeah, another one of these not quite 3D shooters. I've never been into sort of Star Wars, Star Trek, whatever. Weren't there some secrets here? He thinks. Yes. Ooh. Another backpack, that's not all that useful really. Well, this is probably good enough for now. Got some goodies. This is all completely optional though. We could just have bypassed that whole section. This is... I actually did spend... Oh, hello. Oh, that's my run button again. Oh, boy. Hit. The feeling it runs a bit weird. Sometimes a bit fast. Sometimes a bit slow. Well, a bit fast as in weirdly, not a high frame rate fast. Hello. Ah, so. Multiplayer, yeah, speaking of that, Phil. Damn. Something that I never got to do, but Doom did sort of completely overload, like, company networks and all that, people playing it. Ooh, secrets. We have all the secrets. Free calls. We never got free calls. We didn't get internet. I didn't get internet until I left the house 19 or 20 years old to study. Do more of that, but... And then we had broadband. Not the Jimmy, but the internet. I remember it was 300 kilobytes per second down and 12 kilobytes per second up. But like routers weren't really a thing then. So we connected through the system of my housemate. And he went to bed at midnight and then I couldn't play anymore. So I was sort of looped, connected through. So then... we got a 486 PC that would have run Doom fairly well. And there was a Linux-based floppy disk-sized distribution with router software. So we put a few network cards in there, a switch, and then our house had broadband, 300 kilobytes per second internet. And of course a few years later all the routers were like $25, but back then it was pretty tricky. Is this 1999, Donald? No, no, no. This is 1993. Psh, 1999. We had 3D. We had Quake 2 in 1999. Yeah, so this is in 6 years a lot has changed. This is not 3D accelerated. It's not even 3D. It's 2.5D apparently. So all the walls are vertical. You cannot have floors above each other. And there is, well, things have a height. but it sort of doesn't really exist. Anyway, oh, frame rate, oh. Oh, it's hard with this frame rate. Very hard, but I said that already. It's an easy game when you play it in a source port at the high frame rate. But at 8 FPS, tricky game. This is the level where each episode has a secret level. You figure out how to access. I'm not sure if we will do it. Ah, blue key. I don't have a blue key. Yeah, 1999. Yeah, GPL existed in 1999. Which was a major step forward for racing sims. Even though nowadays... Oh, the frame rate. Nowadays GPL doesn't stand up, I would say. It's as a fun experience, of course, to relive the old game, but to me... Well, I never really liked Grand Prix. Well, we didn't know, just like with... Hello! Oh. I'm trying to shoot them. Oh boy! He says he doesn't like GPL and he dies. Dave Kemmer, why are you doing this? Oh, is that like dead? It is. I should save every now and then, shouldn't I? Alright, balls. No. Okay, well, I'm not used to dying in Doom, because I'm so damn good. Let's just do that again. Shall we cheat? Shall we... Hey, random call sign. Welcome back to 1993, my man. Where frame rate was optional. And death is permanent. It's a different time, where health does not regenerate. Oh, my run button again. Ooh. Oh, where the shotgunner's at. It's so tricky. Oh, random call sign flexing the cheat codes. Which is a nice bridge to talk about sim racing, right? Rensport, I don't understand Rensport really. It always had a weird vibe to it, like their approach was sort of, oh look at us, we're doing something amazing. It's all from the ground up and there's no fucking microtransactions. It was all weird, like, I don't mind swearing, but when I'm talking like I'm representing my own company, I won't swear. And I remember, cannot speak English. The guy not, saying that it wasn't NFT based, and then he started swearing and stuff. It always felt weird, and I never understood how they got a game running reasonably well so soon with their own physics. And then people said they had a force feedback effect, where I'm gonna change something actually. We're gonna upgrade the system. because I'm struggling. Upgrade it. That's how easy you upgrade. You just press Ctrl F12. Oh, oh, something of a frame rate. Oh. So this is the sugar daddy mode. I'm not liking my auto run anymore. We're playing sugar daddy mode now. Somebody gave me a 486 DX100. Oh, it plays so much better. So I always found it weird the way Rennsport announced itself, and then when people were playing it, they felt the force feedback sort of pull on the steering over curbstones, which to me sounded, hey, that's a default effect in R Factor. But I felt, well, they're saying that they have their own physics engine, so it won't be R Factor. But it turns out it was, but they never said it, and they are sort of meh. I feel in a form of control now. Still dying, but at least aware of it. See, much better. So it always felt weird to me, Rennsport, and it seems sometimes that the progress in sim racing is just the same thing at a lower frame rate. And with Rennsport, it does seem to be that. Very slidey cars because, well, RF2 is quite slidey as well. I've not played it, by the way, just seen it and spoken to some esports guys. So yeah, I don't know. And the whole esports thing in Saudi Arabia, it just, everything sort of doesn't feel right. You know, the way they went about with the marketing and claiming the physics were unique, which they weren't. And then I don't know where the money comes from, but they have this huge tournament in Saudi Arabia. Nobody is watching. Some Saudi Arabian person, government, spending millions on esports that nobody's watching. It's all a bit weird to me. What I'm working on, Donald, well, apart from quite a few hardware things, of course, that I won't mention, after the H pattern shifter that we announced and then we sort of never ended up selling because it wasn't good enough, we do not really announce any of the hardware stuff, but there's quite a few things going slowly but surely. And the weirdest thing with Rennsport is that it technically should not have been possible that they're using RF2. It's very strange. Let's call this good enough. Because Studio 397 owns R Factor for a long time, and they sure as heck didn't license it out, so it's all very, very, very weird. Alright, let's save the game at some point. Right. You know what? I might actually prefer manual running. This auto run by Lego. Having a frame rate. Who thought it would make the game easier? Hello. It helps so much. So GP Labs, well, just call you by your name. So, well, Automobilista is my game, sort of. So I'm not actively involved with any of the sims that are currently going on, but I still play around with Automobilista. Hello. Which, strangely enough, you know, we had the guys from Mercedes Esports over. And they're just happy to be around because they get to play Automobilista, and it's a sim that handles logically, as opposed to the Rennsport and F1 games that they are sort of playing for money. So yeah, Automobilista 1 is still my thing, and I'm always working on spreadsheets and things. I'm currently making a Ferrari F40, which is glorious, if I may say so. Hello. Oh, you didn't make it, friend. Maybe we can release the F40, I'm not sure. Of course, nobody's playing Automobilista 1 anymore. Almost nobody. Shall we get the... Yeah, let's go outside, get the gun. Wait, whoa! How did you get up there? Okay, the frame rate isn't helping as much as I hoped. So without plugging my company, but recently I battled the one and only Jarno Opmeer, and I beat him. I'll explain myself, alright? It was AMS, custom modern F1-ish car, and the plan was that I would be slower, because Jarno is of course an alien, and if he spends an hour trying hard, he'll be quicker than me. And the idea was to have a video comparing the differences. I expected to be like half a second slower, but I actually managed to beat him, but only in my own game, literally, when it's my physics, my game. So Donald, how far off the aliens? I'm within a second in my own sim, but in iRacing I cannot even complete a lap, let alone get near aliens. Yeah, it was a bit sad, and sad, you know, Jarno didn't have enough time, so he gave it 8 laps. And 8 laps was not enough to beat Old Man. It was still amazing, because I spent 200 laps to get where I was. And yeah, he spent 8 laps, getting within like 700ths of a second. I did not stop after 200 laps. I went on like to 400-500 laps, but I enjoyed it and I couldn't stop. Driving a Formula 1 car at Imola is just easy to continue with that. It's so fun and challenging. Driving an F40 at Imola is not too shabby either, I must say. Speedrun with wheel and pedals. Somebody will do it. And of course the big news this week. 3-dimensional curbstones in iRacing, as seen in most other sims for at least 12 years. iRacing is the game I will never understand. I respect it for having, you know, a proper online platform and competitive play. It runs fairly well from that regard. Whoa. But the pricing is so, yeah, like compare it to, you can get AMS1 for $6 on sale, and you can probably find AC for about that price on sale as well. These give you, well, AC gives you, AMS doesn't quite, give you endless content of pretty high quality. And yet iRacing exists. It shows that if you have an online ranked platform, that somehow physics don't matter or something. I just never enjoyed driving it. So, ooh. But then I started thinking, and I've never actually enjoyed, and this sounds very negative, it's not really meant that way, but enjoyed the feel of the cars in anything that Dave Kammer made. Now, I know Dave Kammer is literally a god. He may have made a universe, and he would probably be able to program Doom. But the feel of the physics in his sims, you can never drive at the limit and beyond it the way I enjoy sim racing. And it's still the same in iRacing. You have to be super quick with your reactions, or you have to really learn what to do. So for once I'm actually a bit with gamer muscle on this. Yeah, it's not as enjoyable. You know what, let's save that a bit. And it's also weird because the priority of, hey, hello, forgot you were here. Hello, yeah. That's what I didn't quite understand, like with AMS2. Oh, you're there. Hello. When they started that, I figured, well, if they focus on the online stuff, ranked multiplayer, you know, that's what people want. But instead they added content and more content, and they also polished the physics. But having a player base that can just jump in and find a nice race is so important. Die already. But it's very nice to see that now AC has a sort of online system that they're testing. And maybe that is... Is there another one? I think there is. Yes, I knew that. Maybe we also expect too much from new sims, because in a way, just like first-person shooters, the amount of fun you can have with Doom hasn't really gone up. You know, the gameplay has changed a lot in certain games, but it's still sort of the same. I think we're just about good enough here. Yeah, there have been multiple online platforms, haven't there? But they just somehow have, you need that magic. It's like an empty bar. Nobody wants to be the first in the bar, you know. There needs to be a crowd there, and then it's fun. But I think maybe we are expecting like too much progress from Sims, because what can you improve? Of course, the graphics and all that, and it's weird with iRacing maybe that it's fairly dated, and iRacing just copies the frame rate of advanced engines without actually the graphics of advanced engines. Okay, let's not die anymore. So my plan of playing this all at 486 33 megas mode is no longer a thing. Oh, Because all the time when sims announce, oh, we have a new tire model. You know, this one makes breakfast for you in the morning. And then at the end, the best example I always give is that both iRacing and RF2, they use a physical tire model, which AMS2 uses it as well. It's sort of a buzzword in a way. You don't know what that means exactly, what they do and how they do it. But they both use a physical tire model, yet the driving could not be more different. So I don't think we need any more processing power so much for... Did a barrel explode behind me? For physics. The weak link with physics, I believe, is more down to the physics guys and just having a solid engine. Whereas, like with RF2, oh yeah, this is where we not made it. You know, having triple the frame rate has some effects. That's nice. But of course, I'm biased with my spreadsheets, but I think it shows that a physical tire model in two different sims feels exactly like the opposite. You know, so different. And then you always have some of the content that drives... there's my run button. Give me my run button back. Lego run button. Consistency within the sim is a bit tricky. The more complicated your physics engine is, the harder it is to have consistent content. Oh, well, let's not... Oh, you know what. Let me catch up a bit. Yeah, AI. That's a good thing. AI. I've heard some companies, they tried AI. They licensed the image space like RFactor engine, and they went to go there do their own AI, and then they came back using the RFactor AI instead because they didn't figure it out. It's just quite complex to do it. And Race Room as well. At some point, I mean, Race Room had effectively. That's nice timing, save, and then you get shot while my run button falls off. So if you joined later, this die please, thank you, is my run button. This is a wait from Technic Lego. There is no auto run in the original Doom, so I put this on the tilde key, giving me the speed without having to press a key. That's what I did back in the day. There are some drawbacks. When it falls off, you panic and you die. But at Race Room, it used sort of the original RFactor engine, maybe based on GTR2. I think they already made a change to the tire model some years ago. And weirdly, like this is the thing that... One shot. The skill. Sim devs tend to do. Once you have the source code and you have a few programmers, you blame the physics engine. So you program a new model for something, and then it's either better or not. It tends to not change all that. Hey, that's good. Change all that much. And meanwhile, without boasting or anything, a good car in AMS or even in RF1 could feel better than... It's all subjective, I will admit that, but as good or better than a Race Room car with their new tire model, because the model is only one part of the equation. And since I've been using the same model since 2007 almost, there's things we added in AMS, you look at it from a different perspective instead of complaining about the model and trying to make it more complicated. Hello. You just have to make do and learn. I'm a bit scared now. You have to make do with it. Oh, these growling noises, you know, there's somebody's gonna munch on your face. Pinkies. And to this day, when I mess around with physics in AMS, I still find new ways and better ways, allegedly, subjectively, of doing things. And that's where I think RF2, iRacing, they're all missing the boat because the physics programmer went nuts making possibly amazing things that are then so complicated that their physics guys struggle to make consistent high quality content with it. There's weird things where you can drive on the grass to cool the tires, or in RF2 you have to be like a D1 drifter in all the cars, and in iRacing there's the cars that should use ABS, you shouldn't use the ABS because it smokes the tires or something. There's always these weird things. So, meh. It seems to me like people have made sims more complicated, which... Oh yes, secrets. Hey. There's also... Yes. Things to shoot. It is such a tendency to make things complicated, more parameters, but then you have 170 cars in a sim. How do you keep all those cars up to date and all that? Oh, oh, rocket launcher. Let's just save, you know. Sorry, David, the sounds for this game. Did you know that when the imp moans, it's actually a camel, literally like a hump, like a desert camel. Yeah, so they had to redo the grass, but it's weird in the first place that it was possible to drive on it. So what I see in sim racing isn't so much... Oh, I'm here. Okay. Do I want to go back though? Well, I can't. I see more sideways steps than steps forward, to be honest. I'm in pretty good health. Who would have thought? And there comes shotgun in my face. And another one. And maybe... Oh, I was standing next to a barrel. That's never smart. Oh, hello. Hello, everybody. Oh, there's still more. Oh, there's many more. Thankfully, with the Sugar Daddy 486 upgrade, we can actually play this game now. Yeah, there's various physics engines for various game engines, I think. So what I've been doing the last couple of years, so physics is now just a bit of a hobby. And this year I spent a lot of time with remote control cars. I uploaded a couple of videos, and this is not that interesting from a... If you want to race like real cars, simulate real cars, then why is remote control racing interesting? But from a physics perspective, remote control cars are very interesting. And this was one of the funniest moments this year where, together with Morten from Crew Chief, we all know Crew Chief, the software that shouts at you, and we all install it. managed to get rid of a limitation in the R-Factor engine, a simple hard-coded limit. That means you always need 0.9 liters of fuel. Otherwise your engine starts to splutter. But of course, if you have one of those itty-bitty remote control cars, they are the weight of 0.9 kilos of fuel. So we found a way to set that limitation to another value, so we can effectively use 0 fuel and still drive. And I managed to make cars that are 0.7 kilos heavy, 1 to 12 scale cars. And it seems to go quite realistic. The physics are stable and all that. And this is with the same physics engine that people, we not unlocked that yet. The same physics engine people said could not do cars lighter than 300 kilograms. This was what was being said when R-Factor modding took off. People couldn't do realistic go-karts and stuff. But the engine is fine. It works just yeah, oh, that's my run button. It just shows that you need a lot of experience with the numbers. This doesn't look alright. I opened something. Might have been important. Did we raise lower upper the platform? Yes, we did. So this gives us access to the secret level. Should I do the secret level? It's pretty difficult. So those remote controlled, no, which I do not drive them in real life, although there is a real life track here in Groningen. Well, I'm not in Groningen, I'm very near Groningen. They drive a lot of noisy cars and the smell and all that. Yeah. Oh yes, I will not do the secret level. This will take too long and it's a bit hard. However, I might have a yellow key. Hey, it's like I played this game before. Hello. Goodies, baby! So that was very interesting to drive the RC cars. And Morten also got the VR plugin, which is, I still cannot get over the fact that VR is now supported in AMS1 and it works fairly well. Got it working with the RC car, so that's what I've been doing over the summer. Then I beat Jarno casually, and then I haven't been in the simulator since like a couple weeks ago, where I'm now making a F40 that's just very enjoyable to drive. I hope to do a bit of a video on that. But what I'm always doing, and this is something I hope to maybe one day apply to a new sim at some point, is update my spreadsheets. You know I love a spreadsheet. Because I've spoke about this a few times. Hello everybody. Meet my little friend. Wee. Oh, I can outrun a fireball. That's a good pickup line. Maybe not. Alright, I'll pretend that went smoothly. So yeah, I'm still working on spreadsheets. Another thing I did this year was I made a suspension generator. There is a video on that I realize it's a bit boring, but it's actually really something I'm quite proud of. So I can generate, there's my run key, generate suspension geometry in a pretty nice way. Because what I think is the future for one shot, baby. For consistent sim racing car quality is that instead of what seems to happen now, you know, iRacing updates their tire model or their damage model, it only gets applied to this and that car, and then the next update maybe one or two other cars get it, and it all seems like it's manual work. Hello? Anyone else? Yes. It seems a lot of manual work to keep a sim up to date. And the same with so many sims. And I've also spoken to Aris from Assetto Corsa, of course, or maybe it was Kunos himself. When they had some suggestions how to improve it, he said, you know, well, it's all good and well, but how are we going to update all the cars? It's so much work. So what I'm doing with my spreadsheets is, it is specific-ish to Automobilista, but the generic calculations are generic for cars and properties, so they could be adapted. I want to simplify the physics generation, and I'm quite far with it already, which is all very pointless and meaningless to you guys, because it's just a bit of a hobby project now. But I can generate good tires-ish. Hey! Didn't see you there. Oh, it's another imp. Imp the second is no more. Imp the third. Anyone else here? My shotgun's loaded, so... Free lead! Who wants some? Nobody? Alright. The maze-like levels, so easy to get lost. Anyway, so I'm finding out ways to generate tires and all that stuff in a much simpler way, because I think it is a big trap that you can easily fall into. About as big a trap as getting lost in Doom, that people think they can control a certain complexity. You know, it's like your neighbor's fixing the car, you go outside and you look under the hood and you pretend you understand what's going on. But I think that's pretty soon not the case. Things get complicated at some point, and then when you have 100 cars, I'm playing a little bit of Assetto Corsa now. There's just so many cars in there. My idea with my spreadsheet is to make tools that generate suspensions, for example, that generate aero maps, that generate suspension balance and all that sort of stuff. So it sounds impossible, and that's why it's challenging that I can make tires with 5 parameters. But for the F40 that I'm making and all the other cars, I just enter the size, a couple of other parameters, and I'm lost. And I'm going. So, here we were. And I don't think this is something, but maybe it is, that sim developers are doing. They seem to be making their physics engine more complicated, and then there's a spreadsheet maybe. But a spreadsheet is, in my opinion, useless if it only makes one car. So I want a spreadsheet that makes all the cars. You know? So the spreadsheet has rules. Hello, imps. Oh. Infighting, that's good. Please do that. So my spreadsheet has rules for making tires. What does temperature do with this tire? What does threaded versus slick do? How does the rim size and the aspect ratio affect the grip? So these are a bunch, of rules. And based on those rules, I tell it to make a slick tire of certain dimensions and a certain compound softness, and it will make it for me. Which gives each tire 5 or 6 parameters, which is very easy if you have 200 cars. Oh, where did you come from? Jeez. if you have 200 cars, it's quite easy to maintain because each car only has 5 numbers for the tires. And then if you want to fix the tires, you do not change it on a per car basis, but you go back to those tire generation rules and things that I mentioned earlier. How does compound affect load sensitivity, slip angle, whatever you want to do. And I strongly feel that this approach, which is hard to do at first, but once you're done, makes it so much easier to stay on top. And then if you make a tire model update, where am I? Here. Or you update the rules that you designed to, you know, come up with the grip levels, you will apply it to all the vehicles at once. What have I done? Something important? Hello. Is this good? Because at some point, if you have more than a dozen cars, it becomes impossible to keep track of all the parameters, I think. So I'm really enjoying this. And the thing is, indeed, like what Random Call Sign says, won't, I think he means won't the cars feel similar? Absolutely not. Because my theory is that if these rules that I make for everything are correct, then not a single car will be like completely silly compared to another, unless the car is silly. For example, if it's a rear-wheel drive and it has huge front tires and tiny rear tires or something, that will be difficult to do. So the tires that it makes now are about the same, or at least more consistent in many ways than what I would do by hand, so to speak. And things like the aero maps as well. And it has yet to be put into practice, and maybe I'm over enthusiastic. But I think it'll work quite well, and there will probably be some disadvantages to the method, but it's not like there are no Man forgets he's playing Doom where everything tries to kill him. Another simple thing that I've done, simple-ish, is design a simple physical model. I make physical models now. Whoa! This game doesn't want me to talk about physics, does it? Calculates the weight of rims and tires based on a few parameters, just the size and stuff. It constructs a simple tire, simple rim model, giving me the weight and inertia properties. And this is super simple, but it takes guesswork away. Because sometimes when you enter a number, you think, let's make it 20 kilos. But then you just forget that you're doing a 10-inch Formula Student tire. Maybe it's 6 kilos and you forgot. Hey, 2 in 1. So it's very interesting to make tools that logically arrive at parameters. It's really fun to do. I strangely enjoy that. Hey, I don't enjoy this. I'm still not dead though, that's pretty good. So yeah, of course, things like the weight distribution would definitely have to be entered. There would still be quite a number of parameters that you need to enter. But also quite a few things you can automate. And another advantage I see, so I've made an aero model. Can I go there? You always heard like Formula 1 cars are very sensitive when it comes to ride height and pitch and all that. But in many sims, I think... Hey, a secret, I knew that. There tends to be one sort of physics model. Maybe there are more liveries and all that. But with a tool like this, imagining it would work, it would be very, very simple to make entire grids. Because you can make one car And that's the way my aero spreadsheet works. You can change the operating window of the aero map, for example, and maybe one car has a larger operating window. Stop shooting, I'm talking about physics! Damn it! So maybe one of the cars on the grid has a larger operating window for the aero, but maybe at the cost of some absolute maximum downforce. But then another car on the grid has not quite got the downforce, but it works at a greater range of ride height, so maybe it can cope with a slightly softer setup at some tracks, making it more drivable, for example. But you always see in Formula 1, there's always that team that does amazingly well. Maybe this year Williams, the low drag tracks, they've got good speed. So you could also quite easily, in the spreadsheet I've made, say, well, this type of Formula 1 car is more efficient in the low downforce configuration. So maybe a Red Bull would beat it on almost all the tracks, but when we get to Spa or Monza, then this Williams, which is not as good aerodynamically most of the time, but in low downforce mode, you know, it's a bit more efficient than a Red Bull, for example. So it would become very easy to make a grid like... Oh, thank you for getting stuck. A full... Oh, that's an elevator right there. Make multiple seasons of full grids of Formula 1 cars. All with unique aero maps without actually having to manage the aero maps, because I construct these aero maps with 10 parameters. So at the end there are still 100 or maybe more parameters for each car. It's not like it's auto-generating the cars, but it simplifies, it automates things that are time consuming to do. Because making an aero map for a Formula 1 car is time consuming the way I do it now in a spreadsheet, because the aero model is quite good. But if you want to change, oh, this is a difficult part. Let's all say a prayer to deity of choice. And see what we do here. I think there's some doors opening. Let's go with this. Hello. Yeah. I have played this before. So making aero maps is a bit time consuming in AMS now, especially if I want to change the sensitivity of the aero map. One of the things I can do with that is change the operating point of the front wing. If I move it a bit further forward, it's not physically on the car, it's just where the aero force applies. The more forward I move it, I can make the aero more sensitive. Oh, this is what I meant. This is what I meant. Oh boy, oh boy. Ah, Doom. Easy game. Bloody hard. I'm not doing well. Where was I? Aero maps. So yes, while my health has been reduced to 48%, and those listening to this talk about aero maps, your health is also being reduced by this weird, complicated talk. But when I move the front wing, which I have to do to change the aero map sensitivity, then the balance of the map will also change. So I also have to change the rear wing and the diffuser. So changing an aero map it costs like 20 minutes to do, and I can also automate it by knowing how the sim does its aero calculations. I've put them in the spreadsheet, so instead of tweaking a number and looking at the result, I know how it all works. So I enter my target results and it figures out where to place the front wing, where to place the diffuser, and what the minimum and maximum downforce will have to be. It's all sort of fairly nice. I just tell it what my top speed is in low downforce and high downforce mode, and what my efficiency is in low downforce and high downforce mode, how sensitive the ride height map is, and it generates it for me. So you can have all seasons of Formula 1 since 1990. I could make aero maps for all those cars in a week, You know, you have hundreds of cars and logically made, less chance of typos and errors. So yeah, this is something I feel personally is something I would really like to explore, i.e. where I'm being shot from somewhere. And I'm almost dead, so I have to be careful. So this could all be horrifically bad and go wrong, but it's it's a direction I would love to go at some point with a new sim. Try to make the generation of the physics a bit more automated using smart-ish spreadsheets where possible. So I have fewer numbers to tweak and the numbers are generated in a logical way based on the desired targets. Instead of entering the numbers and seeing what the result is, I enter the result and it will change the numbers, so the results are met. The same with the suspension generator that I made. Instead of tweaking all the wishbones, which is very time consuming, and you change one thing and another thing changes, just give me this kingpin angle, this caster angle, this trail and everything, and it will generate it for me. It's been a huge time saver and I'm very excited about that technology. It will only take a few years of full-time development of a tool like that. I think I forgot to pick actually some important things up here, like a key. I think random call sign, but I don't know that. I really don't know, so don't pin me down on this, but a lot of games are still made with Notepad. Not entirely. Oh, barrel! Bloody barrel, literally. Balls. Ah, exploding barrel in my face, that's bad. I could be completely wrong. Maybe all the devs have the tools where they automate things like that, but there is more Notepad and just fudging and tweaking by feel involved than I think you might expect. At least I've got armor. Well, KK, of course, one of the things you need before this could even be a thing is a physics engine that matches this philosophy of making the parameters for it. So if you have an overly complicated physics model that is very difficult to put in a spreadsheet, for example, like I bet iRacing is, and RF2, for example, their tire models are very complicated and hard to predict. Don't forget that in order to make tires for RF2, you have to spend like one night running the computational model and then it generates a tire for you. It takes hours and then you don't quite know all the properties. That's impossible. So you do need a physics engine designed in a way with the best models, with the fewest parameters. How many monsters are there? Oh, it is Doom. Endless. Very many monsters. It's more intense than I thought playing a bit of Doom. It's quite tricky. Where you at, bro? Anyway, let's go to the chat to see where it's going. Christoph with the complicated words, are you using a differentiable approach? I don't really know what you mean by that. But GP Labs, it's kind of the way I do it now, a model where you input the physical properties of the tire. I give it the size, rim size, width, aspect ratio. If it's a slickness percentage, so at 100% it's a full slick, at 0% it's a knobbly tire. And then it will simply know what parameters to give that tire. And that's all spreadsheet logic, it's Visual Basic logic running in the background. And it seems impossible, but you're guessing so many things with tires that there isn't really magic. They always say it's magic, but if it's random notepad number editing, it's not really skill or magic. It's just sort of fudging and tweaking. And I found that the things I learned over the years, how a slick tire differs from a road tire and stuff like that, I can program that into my spreadsheet. And then if it's a 330mm wide rear tire of a F40 or a 240 of the front tire of an F40, it will automatically assign different slip angles and stuff and grip to that. So I just put in the numbers for the F40 and I was gloriously driving around. It seems to work fairly well for that. So I will just continue with that. I don't have a lot of time for it anymore, but it's so fun to do. I'm still messing with those spreadsheets, and sadly the only thing, if I can apply it to anything, is Automobilista 1, which is a sim that feels pretty good to most people, but is of course not relevant and it's outdated in many ways. But no, I've not been doing anything for GT Revival. At some point, this is a... Can I say this? I guess I can. This has been so long now. Ian Bell did contact me. I think it was for the first project Cars. So, a long time ago. But on the one hand, I cannot completely discredit what Ian has done, because whatever the method, he did manage to release some sims and games, some of them better received than others, but I never really took to the guy and his methods. So we had a phone call and I declined. I didn't feel like doing it. And I also phoned Aero, remember him, the physics guy from Richard Burns Rally, because he used to work, as I'm lost, work for Simbin at some point, asking what it's like, and it's, as you would expect, like permanent crunch time. And that's a big problem with game development. It's like, is there a 9 to 5 gaming studio? I think Studio 397 was sort of that. I don't know what they are now, under Motorsport Guide Games Advanced. Oh no. This is dark. Let's just wait here for a bit. That's very, very, very scary. If I need input for the F40, GP Labs, you mean you have one that you are willing to power slide around town for me to give me some feedback? Excellent, I will get in touch for sure. So anyway, I was on a phone call with, hey, hello. So this is like 12 years ago, with Aero from Richard Burns Rally. Asking what it was like to work with Ian, and the thing is, indeed, with oh, I don't like this one bit. Doom is still scary. I will be the first to admit it now. This is the lighting, and this was amazing. 1993, in my case 1995 when I saw this. The atmosphere of, well, let's just take all the vision away. And then you find the goggles, but then I think I've already shot everybody. This is what we had prior to Doom. This is not atmospheric. This is good enough. Let's see, is there... Nah, this is good enough. This is good enough for me. We are advancing here. But that is a thing in software development, so I always keep getting sidetracked by things shooting at me. Of course, I have the hardware business that is really fun, challenging, and I set my own hours, which are typically plenty of hours, but I also take the time. And if you work for a gaming studio, can I set my own rules for how long and how often I will work? Of course, that's not really compatible with modern game development, is it? And I don't mean that in a way that, oh, I'm just going to work 10 hours a week and not give a damn. I will probably work quite hard on it. But the feeling of deadlines and crunch time and publishers, that's going to make it difficult, you know. What situation can occur where I'm going... And this is very decadent, I realize that, but I have my hardware business. Oh, I have... Well, if I survive this... I think the gaming industry has become an industry where if you're 44 years old and you have an alternative, it's not that appealing to work. For. So how do we get somewhere where the conditions are such that that something, you know, comes across that I want to participate in. So maybe modding is still the future. Hard to say. I am reading the chat, June. Slowly. Jeroen, I do know The Last Garage, of course. I've seen a few things, but I don't really know what's been announced and what hasn't been announced. So I'm gonna keep a bit quiet on that. But yeah. But sure, if you want to start a new studio, but if people demand like licensed content, you need millions, literally millions, before you have a game that can maybe rival Assetto Corsa Competizione. Many millions probably. And when you just want to casually work on some physics for fun, how does that match up with somebody taking a huge risk financially to make a game? Here's a chainsaw. If you insist on running into my chainsaw, that's your problem. That's the thing with Doom, if just people continuously running into my shotgun. Hate it when that happens. So MTR, I've not really been in the gaming industry from that sort of point of view. When I worked with Renato at Ryza Studios. Just let me talk, god damn it. Oh. This is ultra violence, it's not easy, not necessarily easy. So my experience in the gaming industry is very limited because you cannot really call Ryza Studios in 2011 to 2016 a gaming studio. It was all so tiny. So Renato said, hey Niels, we're gonna do a V8 supercar type car. And I said, alright, let me crack my knuckles and open Excel. We had a fixed rate for each car, and I would say, you know, a couple weeks. That's how it went, really. Whoa, where are you coming from? Yeah, that's the thing. Do we care about licensed cars? I personally don't really care, because how many Ferraris and Lamborghinis can you drive in a GT3 race? And the thing with licenses is you always see it now that aren't the Ported Cars games no longer available because of license issues. In GTR2 the Ferraris got removed. If I go there, Niels, why don't you pick up a suit? Let's do that later. Red key. Whoa. Where? Ah. Say hello to my rocket. So I don't personally see the need for licensed content. I like good content, nice looking cars that drive excellent. But I don't care if it's like BeamNG indeed, that is just fake, not actual brand. I don't really care. And then you don't have licenses to pay. Same for tracks, you know. If the thing is, there are so many sims with the same tracks already. And these days they're all laser scanned, probably the quality is quite high. Do you care about another sim coming to the market? Does it need laser scanned real tracks? Or do you differentiate from that? Red, where is red here? There is red, alright. I don't want bad tracks. Live for Speed had a few tracks that were quite nice. I like Spa and all that, sure. But it's in so many sims already, so I would probably lean towards a sim that has fictional content maybe. Just because it makes it so much easier from a licensing point of view, the costs needed. And it maybe some people would not like it, but at least you're doing something unique and you don't need as big a team and you don't need as much money to make a sim like that. But BeamNG is really impressive. When I tried it a year or so ago, the street car handled quite nicely. Might not do race cars all that well, but yeah. And that's the recording. I have not played ACC since it was tweaked. I've made a video about ACC 2 years ago or something, and I haven't played it since. I recently looked at my playtime for the original AC, and it's only 32 hours, so I tend to really run AMS only, and the rest is just a bit byproduct. Don't have yellow. All this talking made me lose my way. Then again, this might be the one. Jeroen, with your experience of the card physics in Excel, putting it in an open source physics engine sponsored by US Navy. I don't really see what the US Navy part has to do with it. I think cards, they will sink. But... The card physics I did a few years ago, maybe 2 years ago. It's a huge mod for AMS, and it has issues, and cards, I always come back to them thinking this is amazing, and it kind of is, but they always end up with the same dubious ease of oversteer, which they kind of have to do, but then sometimes it is so sensitive to steering, but maybe it's real. It always confuses me. That's an arrow. Hey, that's a map. Oh. Cannot afford to miss the shotgunners. This is Doom. Welcome to the maze. I've played Doom. I was amazed. Hey, I wasn't even looking and I shot the guy. Excellent. That's probably important. No, I won't be visiting the sim formula. I have no plans to do that. What's my playtime in Excel? It's not a number anymore. So with the F40 that I'm making now, and hopefully maybe we can release it, I don't know. Oh, this opened. I was driving some AC, and AC is great in the sense that it's 10 years old or something now. Oh, something opened. That's always a bad sign. It has so many cars, and the modding in AC is off the charts. The things that they do graphically and with the physics probably as well. I think AC is a really cool example of, you know, give a decent sim to a community and it will be... Oh, Pinky was eating shotgunner. So AC is great that it still exists and is being modded. It's a shame that there is modding for AMS, but it's not even remotely as popular. So I was driving a bit of AC because it's got an F40 in it as well. And there's just some very curious differences that I wouldn't say that is bad or AMS is good. I always have my doubts about AMS, and surely there are things wrong with it. But the handling is so different. So interesting to see. So with a bit of luck, I've got a couple days to myself. The wife's on a trip. Maybe I'll stream or drive some AC and also AMS from Ferrari F40 tomorrow. Might happen. Where am I going? I wish I knew. However, I did pick up a map. Oh, I picked up the yellow one. Excellent. Forgot about that. There is something there, I think, so let's get a red suit. Alright. Okay, goodies, not too bad. Alright. Only mildly terrifying, this. Jeez. So one thing I found with AC, I've been playing it a little bit because we've been doing a few online races just with some colleagues, and we drive AC a few times. Thank you very much for that. It feels so different off center, a bit floaty. It's weird. I will probably... who's shooting me from where, alright? I just want to talk about AC. Meanwhile, I'm getting shot in the head. Oh, shotgunner. So I drove the... This is not... You know, man thinks playing Doom will allow him to speak intelligently to a small group of onlookers. Man fails. The 62 Formula 1, the Lotus in AC. I think I went to Goodwood. Excellent track, fun car. But also with a DTM car, it's quite weird that on the straight, if I'm first little bit of input, it feels sort of sluggish, and I can get sort of an oscillation going if I don't restrict the wheel enough. It has a sluggishness and a sort of floatiness off center. The F40 has it as well. And I went to the skid pad in the F40, so this game really doesn't work when you want to talk semi-intelligently. So I'm on the skid pad where you find the limit of grip, just doing a circle. You literally follow a circle, and then you let go of the throttle. When you're absolutely on the limit of grip, let go of the throttle. In AMS, my car sort of, because of the weight transfer, it tucks in immediately and then more. So it's quite sensitive to let go of the throttle. And doing that in AC, I keep following the line for a little bit, and then as the car slows down, it takes a tighter line, simply because at a lower speed with the same steering angle, you would do a tighter line. But the reaction is completely differently. Yet, AC set out to make the best sim, and I'm setting out to make the best sim, but different physics guys, different physics engines, completely different feel in the car. So I haven't really enjoyed AC as much. Where are they all coming from? Because I'm a bit afraid. Ha! Got to him before he got to me. Four-seat back as well, that floatiness somehow seems to be in a four-seat back, where it's also a little slow initially to steer with you. But I have 30 hours total in... But that's good to know that they had, apparently, Martin, they had a bit of data from the real F40. Although I also saw a weight distribution in AC of 55% rearwards, and it's actually 60%, so that's quite a big difference. So I find it drives fine in AC-ish, but just very different. But compared to something like iRacing, it's way more controllable. Oh boy. My tip of the day, do not use rockets in a case like this. Jeez, how many were that? Alright. Rockets tend to blow up in your own face in Doom if you don't pay attention. Well, yeah, what would a real F40 do on a skid pad? It's hard to say. You would almost, I would almost expect, and I've talked to a race engineer friend of mine, that of course it depends on so many things. If you let go of the throttle, there will be some engine braking, you're on the limit and you get a bit of load transfer. You would expect the front axle to almost instantly have a bit more traction, so you get a bit of a tug in instead of a sort of float along. But maybe it's too exaggerated in AMS, and maybe it is too floaty in AC. Maybe the truth is in the middle. Maybe AC is correct and AMS is too responsive. It's really hard to tell. So actually what we need... Man finds out he didn't set up the donate system to donate a lot of money to me. I will get an F40 and will drive it on a skid pad. Good question, MTR. Making the physics, the code moddable like Carmack with the Quake engine where he released the source code. Well, the funny thing is, with AC, I think they're doing it without even like officially having all the source code. They're adding things, quite complicated things. I don't know if it's public or not, but I know Jackson, with a last name I cannot pronounce. He does lots of sim work for racing teams and stuff. He's still updating the physics engine somehow, injecting code. And of course some guys from Crew Chief who made VR for AMS. We've been tweaking code as well a little bit for AMS. So there's a lot you can do even without the source code. In a way it would be good, but like I said earlier, MTR, when you are free to code something, it's also a slippery slope where instead of fixing the parameters, you try to fix the model and you end up with RF2 or iRacing that is so complicated, and you find yourself with cars that are not necessarily any easier to drive. I think this level is not done. Ooh. I think there's a secret here. Completely missed. Yeah, good enough. Ooh, one but last level. Okay, Mar back here. I'm slow. You know, we're playing in original DOS box at 30 FPS with bad controls, alright? But Grzesik, when will we have active pedals? Well, as much as I will not talk about things we are working on, I can tell you active pedals will not be coming anytime soon. I think Simracube did a really good job with them. Yes, they are insanely expensive. No, I haven't tried them, but the thing is, you should understand with properly active pedals, the way Simracube did it. Simracube, of course, existed as granite devices for 10 or 15 years prior to being Simracube. And granite devices, they made servo motor controllers. So basically, they spent 20 years, I don't know how long, tweaking, you know, what do we have to do with our electronics and firmware to make a motor do exactly what we want. So with that experience, they made their active pedal. And we have one electronics engineer and no experience whatsoever with doing things like that. So it would be silly for us to attempt this and then in a year or something claim to have something that's comparable. You know, in Doom, there's that weird tendency that people shoot you. It's really not... It's not really, you know... And then you don't know where from. Here, probably. Yes. The rudder pedals. I'm not really a flight sim guy. I could be, especially now that VR is somewhere reasonably functional. So maybe that changes things, but I don't know much about aircraft, and what helps a lot if you make pedals and sim hardware is that you have some level of understanding. What's involved. Yeah, this ducking, this helps, you know. I can now really see through the little gap there. We're quite far through in this episode already. Although it's also taking a lot of time because I forget where I'm going. I'm pretty bad at the game, as we discovered. I get shot a lot and then I talk about spreadsheets while my face is being chewed off by a pinky. For some reason, making the whole thing, hello, a bit more complicated. Hey, 2 in 1. Where do I go? Can I go up here somewhere? The idea of flying a helicopter sounds like something that I think would be really cool. Just to fly a helicopter, but I don't know if there's like a really proper hardcore sim for it. Rockets. We haven't used enough rockets, but I find rockets are the #1 suicidal weapon to use in Doom. Yeah, I know about X-Plane being sort of a cool physics engine like that. But don't worry, I just don't understand planes. And after 17 or so years, maybe I'm starting to get confident enough that I know a few things about cars, but that's about where it ends. Speaking of where it ends, where does this end? I was here. Red, we cannot go there. So we started. Yeah, DCS looks like a really cool sim. I'm also a bit afraid if I get like a sim gear and then I spent 4 months full time playing a flight sim. Haptic feedback. Well, since we sold pedals like since 2013, we've had people mounting butt kickers to everything. I struggle a bit with the concept. I get the active pedal of SimuCube, but a vibration motor, even if it's a strong one, I don't really understand what I would... Hey, this is where we needed to go, I think. No, we were here already, but maybe I hear monsters. Ugh. So I can understand an active pedal. The downside of an active pedal is maybe 1% of people can afford it. So will all the sims implement proper support for it? You do get in a sort of a gray area. What can you do and what can you not do with that? Because you could imagine ways to... this is a doom moment. Man is lost in 30-year-old game. Yeah, the ABS, well, the one fix for that is to not drive cars with ABS, but you do not feel traction control in a pedal, so that's why I struggle a bit with simulator things that do things that are not in real cars. So I'm not sure if the haptics is something I fully get. I would get it if it was like an active pedal and the right amount of vibration or things you could actually do through the pedal. It's just not really... Because you also, with the Simagic one, you add a chunk of metal to your moving pedal, and that also... Well, I don't know where I'm going, but I can shoot these. Oh. Maybe this is a sign. I have to go here. But the main thing is with regarding the pedals, there's nothing, you know, being actively done or really close or anything, but I still have plenty of ideas to improve a passive pedal. And effectively a vibration motor would not quite cut it. You know, how cool would it be if you could do it with like a SimuCube pedal? Is if you have a crash and you find that your whole suspension is being torn off the car, including the brake lines, that you press your brake pedal and it just goes to the floor and stays there. How amazing would that be? But that requires your sim to support it properly. You know, just setting your force curves is handy, and that's very useful in with the active pedal. Doing it on the fly without having to change elastomers and stuff. Really cool, clever technology. But to make it truly amazing, you need such advanced sim support, and you know how long iRacing takes to implement things and others. You know, and I feel that, sure, you can do some vibration and stuff and maybe look at telemetry. This seems like a dangerous place. I want to do it super properly. And I hope that the SimiCube Active Pedal, that developers will make some of those awesome things that you could do with it. But otherwise, I don't really see, you know, the potential isn't used. So the ideal thing to do, this is a grand plan. There must be something here I need to pick up, surely. Is to make a sim and make hardware. But, you know, that's tough enough to do one of these two things, so. Well, that's the chainsaw doesn't quite have the reach. I'm shooting a few pixels, which I think are yes, definitely things I can shoot. Hey Raiden. You must not break someone's foot. That is always a good tip for a pedal engineer. Do not break someone's foot. If I came from here. The V-Rock days. Oh, I'll talk about sentimental stuff. For those who don't know, which I would assume is a percentage, V-Rock was an online launcher platform for Grand Prix Legends where... What am I doing here? Except getting shot, trying to use a chainsaw for long distance again. So it had chat, IRC, integrated with like a race list. You could join a race and drive online. And most of the time we were just hanging out, chatting about nonsense. Do I miss it? It's a thing of the past, really, in the sense that I was 22 years old then, had nothing to do. I fondly remember it. Definitely. Hello? Is that an indication that we need to go there? I still don't have blue. Maybe this important. Oh, see now, because the damn mouse also moves me forward and backward. Is there anything here though? It was a really cool time, but also a different time, and I would not really... Oh, yay. Oh wait, I can of course jump over. Is there anything we can... Any goodies we can get here? Yeah, we spend more time chatting than racing. And I don't think I would spend that time anymore. Yay. Hey. Got him. Ooh, I better save now. Oh, there's a red suit. But what I need to figure out is how to continue. I need a blue key. In here. Hey, oh, there is mega health. Okay. I'm a healthy guy, I don't need mega health. It was a cool time though in V-Rock. Whoa. Hanging out, chatting. The internet was just a bit newer and maybe this is just nostalgia. The internet was a bit less toxic than it is now. I don't like the sound of what I'm hearing here. Hello. Lift, go up. Present me with thing to shoot. Oh, not even. My run, my run. I hate it when a shotgunner takes a shot when I'm just replacing my Technic Lego weight on my tilt keys to enable auto run. Who hasn't had that happen? Okay, this gave me the red key, finally. We've been running around for ages. Red key means red door. Red door is somewhere. I tend to think as well that it was a bit less toxic. And maybe also that the people online back then, I wouldn't say were better or anything, but you tended to be a student or somebody in IT, you know. Not everybody and their dog was online yet. And being online was more special. So maybe you cherished it a bit more. No. Yes, or more nerds. Definitely more nerds. Where do I go? That's the question in Doom, isn't it? Red door. That's not a red door. This is back to where we... Click on there. Probably... Blue is missing. Where is the red door? Hey, that's good. There's also armor here. Yes. Excellent. These are good pickups. I'm still lost, but at least we have armor now. Hey, a red door appears. I knew where I was going all the time. That's Doom, you know. Traps like that. Yeah, the definitely fond memories of old days on the internet. Very easy though to have overly fond memories of things. You go misty-eyed. Like me looking for the blue door. Alright, something happened here. What happened here? I've been here already. I think. How did the shotgunner... How many shotgunners does it take to change a light bulb? The sprint weekends. So, you're assuming I still watch Formula 1. I've skipped a few races. It is so mind-numbingly boring so often. Not just because Max is ahead. All we hope for is Alonso to make a couple moves to make it interesting. So I don't find Formula 1 to be all that interesting. And what I tend to do is just load up I really don't know where I'm going. It's surprising that when you don't pay attention when you play Doom, you get lost even more often. Is there any way? Map. So I've missed quite a few races this year. What I do is I load up a stream and I get on my home trainer, like an exercise bicycle, to at least physically get some exercise while watching the most boring 1.5 hour event. I don't really care for it as much. Now, this is also one of those things where the olden days were not necessarily better. You know, people being on pole by 2 seconds was more the norm than the hey, I think we're near a blue door, don't you think? I feel a blue door. No, I don't feel a blue door anymore. F1 was rarely super exciting, let's be honest about that. But I just don't get excited about DRS assisted passes. And I know Crofty likes to shout as if everything is amazing, but I don't really buy it. So I've missed a few races. Let's go. Blue door. You just have to look at the map for a change. So F1 lacks a bit of excitement. Like a DRS pass doesn't count. My heart rate doesn't go up. But when Alonso defends or Norris overtakes somebody on the outside, it's still really cool. The field is extremely close. Like like Keke says, that's unimaginably how close a backmarker team is now 1.5 seconds off. It's insanely close. You know, there were years where pole position would be 1.5 seconds in front of the second guy. These were my chainsaw long distance attempts, and I did manage to kill some people after switching to a gun. So it doesn't have anything to do with the cars not being close, because they're super close, but they have to manage their tires more than maybe ever. They're also too good. Like the Formula 1 drivers are too good. The cars are too well engineered. Everybody's prepared. Engineers are amazing. The cars are put together so well. Sometimes things are more fun when you're not quite as good at it. And F1 is just so professional that it's... I think the same thing, I haven't followed this at all, but I think maybe this... Hey, we're near somewhere. The same thing sort of happened to NBA basketball. Like in the 90s it was madness, people dunking and being crazy. And I think the game changed to a far more defensive style because that's more effective. But it's also usually boring. You know, F1 now, they have the strategies, and way back in the day with the 80s and 90s, the driver decided he went in because his tires were shot. It wasn't all pre-planned. Yes, the cars are also too big. Whoa. Silly me to expect a door with no monsters behind them. So in a way it's the incredible accomplishment in F1 that is making things boring. So my solution... Oh, that took 25 minutes. Par is 3 minutes. I'm subpar. Well, above par, but subpar. So my solution to F1 is to have each driver drink half a crate of beer the evening before. So, you know, take the sharpness off. No communications, no strategy, leave it all up to the driver. Final level, guys, of the shareware episode of Doom. But yeah, the cars are very big and heavy and they're very fast, there's lots of downforce. But the thing is, a car that is the fastest doesn't always look the fastest. You know, when you see an onboard of 1990, the amount of work they had to do and the cars were not as perfect, the aero wasn't as perfect and there was no mapping of all the engine and stuff. They were maybe 10 seconds a lap slower, but they looked 10 seconds a lap faster. And with the manual shifting they had to do until 91-ish, they would make a shift mistake and that would allow somebody to get past. It was such more dynamic, but it was not as professional. And I think the more professional things get, at some point everybody is professional, everybody knows the quickest way around the track. And then, you know, Jean Alesi, I think, is a good example. If he was behind somebody for position, he would always go for the overtake, because he's a racing driver, you try to overtake. Nowadays, you know, oh, my tires will not last quite as long as if I do that, so let's just hang around. So, I think the downfall of everything that has its downfall is it's too professional, it's too good. Just like my skill in Doom. Come to Papa. Hello? So the final level, which I always think has like the Cyber Demon, but no, it has the two. I've got plenty of rockets if I can get the distance. Let's go for all the kills though. So I don't know what makes F1 better again. The cars, they look too planted, the drivers are too good. The gaps are so small, it's hard to overtake. DRS doesn't excite me. Alonso can still make the heart rate go up a bit. I hoped so much that he would manage to get... Hello. It's just... Oh. Being invisible. Kinda sucks. The Barons. Easy game. Having said that, you know, circle strafing is a little tricky without a sewer sport. A little trickier. Oh. So yeah, F1 is something I don't always enjoy as much anymore. But I fully realized that back in the olden days, half the field broke down, and the other half was nursing issues. It's not like it's always been exciting. What makes F1 cool is that 1 or 2 races where there is a battle that's not DRS based and actually a function of skill. That's really cool. Yeah, I saw that AMS2 has active suspension. I have no idea how they do it. I don't know how they did it in the past, but it shows that what I always knew about Ryza, that their dedication to unique and cool cars is huge. Maybe if I was there, I would have put more resources towards like a more online competition system, because you kind of need that. But they're very passionate about racing, and they've added a lot of things to the engine. And even though maybe some people think it still feels a bit like project cars, maybe it does. I haven't played it for a while. It's not for a lack of trying and tweaking and optimizing. So that's pretty cool. This is it then. By the way, nerd fact about Doom. Until recently, it was thought to be impossible to get 100% kills in this final level. Because when I enter this pit, which we will do, you get shot and the floor is... boom, dead. First episode done. So they always thought you could not beat the level with 100% kills, because you go down in that pit and the floor is toxic and everybody's shooting you. You could not kill everybody. But recently, a speedrunner figured it out, and now somebody, after 30 years of the game existing, can 100% kill this level. Definitely go watch that. Yeah, Carl Jobst video about that. I think that's so cool that after 30 years, people are still finding out how to beat a game like this. So that was the first episode. Took a lot longer than it should have because of my amazing skill combining interacting with some of you and playing a game where people are objects are trying to kill me. But it was fun to play. My plan of playing it in 486 DX33 mode didn't really go well, so I cheated with the Sugar Daddy fast 486-ish setup, which went a bit better. But yeah, Doom it's an old game, isn't it? But it's still very cool, and in a Source port running smoothly. Still mods, you can try things like Brutal Doom. I've played that a while ago. Quite different, quite changed, you know, with lots of gore and everything. It's really cool. So many things people do with the Doom engine. So I think that roughly ends the stream ish. Let's get to the order screen. Let's call John Romero and buy this game. I know it was a bit random. Just an attempt for, talking a bit. If anybody has more questions, I can still be around for a little bit. That's fine. So anything on your mind, do feel free to share. Big face. I hope to stream or make a video of some Assetto Corsa versus AMS F40 driving. It's such a cool car. I also hope to release it, but I'm not sure if that's possible. All right, GT Legends. Jeez. Well, we are talking about old games. I haven't played it since it came out, really. So it was a time where I didn't even have a force feedback wheel. I love the idea of GT Legends. You know, those old touring cars, always, on the bi-sply tires. The idea was cool. In my opinion, maybe the handling wasn't quite what I wanted. What year is GT Legends? Jeez, a long time ago. But I was a part of the historics team for R Factor 1. Basically, they took all the the 3D models from GT Legends and converted it to R-Factor. I did some of the physics there, which was a lot of fun. These cars are amazing, the old touring cars here. Then they never pointing straight. It's like the opposite of modern F1, where everything is perfectly engineered. Old touring cars were not. So you had a Mustang, for example. Every time you look at the throttle, you will get oversteer. Amazing, really cool. So yeah. So yeah, maybe we'll also with the F40. Maybe tomorrow, I don't know yet. We'll have to see. I'm really enjoying driving it, so maybe I'll make a video. MATLAB. I've never used MATLAB, Martin. I'm not really good at maths. So a spreadsheet plus Visual Basic is what I use. And I don't really make models as much. I just figure out ways to set the parameters of an existing sim. I know MATLAB is crazy powerful and all that, but for me it's a spreadsheet with the power of Visual Basic. Now it's not really a professional actual programming language, but Excel gives you like a user interface with charts and input parameters, and then with Visual Basic it's possible to do quite a few things with it. Alright, well guys, thank you for watching. I knew it was a bit random. I was very glad to see some 40 or 50 people here. I hope you enjoyed it. A bit of all doom and a bit of rambling about sim racing. If I don't catch you anymore this year, I hope everybody has enjoyable holidays, and we'll catch you around. Who knows what the future brings for sim racing, software, hardware. I still love that a lot, so I hope to at some point talk to you more about something I'm working on physics-wise, but for the moment it's just AMS with things I often cannot release, and AMS you probably don't play anymore. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. Enjoy the end of the year, and catch you later. Bye bye.